Follow the channel and stay tuned for learning videos.
So in the real time also requirement, the business requirement will have some shape, right? So they will have what they need. Business, whenever they share the business scenarios, what they will give the situation. So whenever account is created, contact is created, like that they will say the triggering point. Or they might say while creating the account, you have to validate. So like that, they will give kind of a story. Okay, so we said right, user stories will be there while creating any entity or account. So you will know what is the triggering point with these two statements, right? What is the triggering? Then they will ask like what should happen. So whenever account contact security, they have to send an email or they have to generate something. They want to do some calculation. Okay, like that they will only say what needs to happen. So in yesterday's scenarios, what we have seen on we are running some job. Whenever the customer, wherever we have the Harish, the value email address not now, we are sending an email, right? So like this, whether it could be with through Power Automate or JavaScript plugin, they will give the scenario that will it should map into end. What should be the triggering, when it should invoke, and what should be do after invoking. So like that we can split everything. So triggering means when it should invoke. Suppose if it is a JavaScript also, while creating account means, so for creating an account we will have the forms, right? Create plus new when we are filling the details. So that for that purpose also we will have some event to how to capture that. While updating the event also we will have some event. So like that, whether it could be JavaScript or Power Automate plugin, you will have the proper events to cover the scenarios to identify the event, create, update, delete, unload, on change, like that. Okay. So once you identify the triggering point, the next thing is action. So for action also, what you will do in the action, you will do kind of a one more job, right? So in here also you will be either update the record, create the record, sending an email also kind of a creating an email record, right? So like that, again you have to define what you need to do. So this is kind for the user stories. Now next you will have bugs. Bugs means what we will do. They implemented already some functionality. Now you are going to fix it. They have some issue for that bug. So we will have the what is the error screenshot, where it is happening, what is the error, and what is the expected out. What is the expected? Expected means without error, they might expect some scenario, right? So they will be sharing. So if it is a bug or user story, you will have the proper detail. So when you give the all this detail, what you need to do. So what is the current means? They will give whenever they're clicking on some button, it is happening. It's getting some error. So you have to check. So to have to implement this thing, what might they have written? What they have, did they written Power Automate? Did they written JavaScript? Did they written plugin? So like that, you do reverse engineering. So in this scenario, what you will do, you will just create with whatever triggering point, everything, right? But they will know getting an error in the send email. So you should identify to send whenever account is creating, they are sending an email means. So where do you have the issue event? So in the account creation, right? So account creation, is it in the JavaScript? Is it in the plugin? Is it in the Power Automate? Like that, you have to think. So then you will check it in the respective places, Power Automate or plugin or JavaScript. Okay. So for the bugs, you will do the reverse engineering. For the regular scenarios, you will do the straightforward development. So whatever the real-time projects, what we will do, it could be bug or user story, you will have the same approach. For the user stories, you will go direct triggering action in like that. For the bugs, you will come with the action. What is happening current? So what could be the root cause? Where it is happening, where it is happening, like that you will think. Getting. So Kasi, you might be working for the production project, right? So they will be user
Yes.
will be sharing like so and
Yeah,
so
that's
error
true.
is happening. So
Yes,
and so
yes.
error is they will share the error screenshot. They will see this when I'm trying to this is not happening, but I'm expecting this like that. They will give the complete scenario. So
Yes.
you are the developer whoever got that bug. What he will do, they will try to repro that it first. So they will do the same action whatever user is trying to do. Then they will identify like it's happening for everyone. That's one point. Then they will see. So do whenever we are doing this, what is triggering behind the scenes? Suppose if it is a button, or suppose it is a save of a record. So behind the scenes, something will be triggered, right? Is it triggering a JavaScript? Is it triggering a Power Automate flow? Is it triggering a plugin? So sometimes in the error screenshot itself, you will have whether it is a plugin or JavaScript directly. So based upon that, they will go to the respective code base and they will see it. For now, in previous scenarios, for that checking also we are doing with code only. We are giving the like what is what like that we are asking. Then it is trying to read the entire code base and it is relate the bug and it is saying so and so that you don't have it is giving like here we have to make the code changes like that it is giving. So that's how we have flexibility. But the mindset what we should have how to how to find the place. So to ask Copilot also you should know that you should know the file, right? So this could be this could be the place where we have the issue. Like that you should have a common understanding. Okay. Like that we need to think. Okay. So don't be afraid of coding or anything. So the first thing what I want to do is I think you guys are not practicing up to level what I'm feeling. So what I will do in this week after completing Power Automate, I will give complete some full end-to-end scenario, one or two end scenarios. You can just explore them. Okay. If you do that only, you will continue the next. So because the plugins are anyway optional because with now current low code no code. So as we are completing till JavaScript means you should able to do all type of things. Okay. Okay. So coming to today's topic, yesterday we have seen what do you mean by expressions, how do we use variables, right? We just initialized the variable, we were using the variable to calculate the count. And we have seen how to give the expressions in this here, the select columns, filter rows, sorted by. We have used fetch XML query even like that, right? We have seen how to expand query, and we use restore this condition control. We were using sending an email. Okay, so you have n number of steps here, right? Suppose you don't know like so here itself you have given some wrong schema. Okay, let's assume. So here itself you given wrong schema. When you're executing, what should happen? What will happen? Obviously, this step will fail, right? As it is have email address one, it will to have remove the last one. So this is a wrong schema at the end. So when I'm trying to run it, what will happen? What should happen? Just
Flow will fail on these steps.
what will fail? So you have some steps behind this. So you have checking this condition is failing. This is skipping. If you see the gray color means skipped, not executed. This green color means succeeded, red color means failed. Everyone knows. So you have too many other steps, but because of some wrong configuration, wrong setup here, this is failed. So let's assume this is not a manual trigger one. This is a automatic trigger whenever record is created. But you have given the wrong expression. It is failed. How do you know like this is failing? You don't until you come here and see you don't know, right? So sometimes we will be using the dynamic values instead of this hard coded. So that time because of any dynamic value also it could be failing. So we should able to catch that error, right? So so if it is failing, you should know whether it is succeeding or failing. If it is failing, you have to do something, right? So for that purpose, we will have the scopes concept in the Power Automate. So what do you mean by scopes? Same like another normal coding language. However, we'll create the try catch blocks. Here also we can create the scopes. So let's see how to. So go to this edit. Okay. So here, if you look for here in the controller, you have condition we have seen apply to which whenever we are having loop, it is coming up automatically. Do until also similar scope. So whenever scope means it is creating a kind of some section, some grouping kind of thing. So what you can do, you can just drag and drop here. This should be on top. So whenever you do like this one, what will happen? You are combining the events. Okay, I'm just moving this also to you are grouping whatever the action into one scope. So you will now what you want to know, whenever it fails, you want to notify, right? So that thing, what should I do? What I will do? I will create a one more email to the engineering team, or I will create a alert to the engineering team. So and so for is failed like that. Okay. So but when I want to execute this one, by default it will execute for all scenarios. Okay. So far whatever we have seen, those are executing without any continuity. Now this send an email I want to trigger whenever this flow is not able to run successfully. So how to choose that one? So if you click on these three dots, you will have when to execute. Okay. This. See, you have run after. So run after it will by default you will have succeeding. Otherwise it will skip everything. There it is. Run after. If you see run after, you have scope successfully. So you have the other options. What are the other options? Has timed out, has skipped, has failed. So has failed means what do you mean by has failed? You have some issue, right? So like that we will be identifying the scope failures. So any of this failure happen, this will trigger. It will execute. Not only list rows. Suppose if it fails something in the middle also, it will trigger. So you will say like expression practice flow failed. Like that you will send an email to engineering team. Now let's try to execute. What will happen now? So my list rows is failing. The next part is below what is skipping. So whenever the scope is failing, you're catching that error and you're sending me email. So we have to test this. See, foreign failed, list of action couldn't find the property name. Here also you got an error, unauthorized. But earlier case, what happened whenever restores happened, everything is skipped. But now it come to here means it is executing. So let's see the error. What is the error in the send enable action? Is it Outlook one? We have to use Outlook one, sorry. Send an email. This one here it is. Oh, failed. So what should I do? If you shouldn't have a straight line. Means the conditions you have to control when it is run. So by default you will have the succeeded. You have to change that to failed. So then it will change like this. So to be able to see the continuity, earlier it was like a continuity line. Whenever you change it to has failed, it is having a kind of a drop. Okay. Let me show it in the normal designer. It will clearly show how it works. Now if you see like this is a triggering point. Then you have succeeded next point, then next point. Then whenever scope has this dot red color means whenever it fails, so it will send an email. So like that you can see in the visually as well how what you configure, what is the flow of this flow. Now I'm just testing the my Power Automate flow, whatever. So as per it, I have Listos is a wrong schema that should fail. So that leads to entire scope will be failing. Then we are sending an email. Okay. So now what happened? Even though scope is failed, it is intimating the developer. So in this end email, what we will do generally, we will give the engineering team alias. So for every engineering team, there will be a security group, right? Security group DL. So we will keep that. So they will know actually so and so flow is failed. Like that, they will come and they will check the error, though whatever the is needed. So here are also two scenarios. So in general, you will have same flow for production, same flow for development, same flow for test environment. So you are giving simply expression flow is failed. So what should they do? Where they need to check? They need to identify the environment, right? So for that also we have a concept called environment specific variables. Okay. I will before explaining that I want to just show you the positive scenario for the scope. So what was missing? So this we have done, right? So I'm just adding back that schema red schema. Suppose if in the for each also if we have anything wrong, still it will execute. Suppose if you have anything send email, anything wrong here. Let's say I'm adding this one. Okay. So what will happen whenever you are doing send email like this? It should fail, right? You shouldn't able to send an email. So whatever the action plays in the scope, it will try to catch everything. It will lead to failure. For every failure, it will try to send an email. That's how it works. Okay. Scope means it is kind of a complete whole bracket where you will keep the entire scenarios. You will try to execute. Now you are for layering successfully because it's unable to identify the wrong email address one. It is false. everything also executed developer. It sent an email. After some time, it will Outlook will know like this is failed. So in that scenarios, this event is not happened real time, not failed in the real time execution, right? So it won't capture. So what happened in that scenario? So this entire scope will be passed. So send mail won't trigger, right? So like this, you need to configure whenever it is needed. Suppose instead of configuring only for failure, you can you can keep skip code hash timed out like that. We can keep. So successful means straightforward. Whenever this step succeed, it will come down. When you want to fail, hash failed means whenever we have error in that scope. Like that we will be doing. Okay. So suppose you have 10 plus 10 steps in the scope. You want to differentiate. So instead of having single scope for everything, you want to create multiple scopes to identify the issue like that. Okay. Let me create one more scope. This is scope 2. So instead of having entire scope for everything, I just want to split it. Whenever list rows is happening, I want to check like that. Okay. You can need to drag and drop only. Create one more scope on top itself to make it easy. I'm just moving this to up. Now this is I'm renaming as a list rows, list contact scope. So below I'm just doing the remaining part. So now here what I will do. So for success scenario, it will go down. This is send email. So for the success scenario, from list contact, it will come go. But in the fail, we have to identify to whenever list contact is succeeded, and I want to track whenever send email also track. Okay, right. So for that one, what I will do, configure and after I will create a has failed, has skip like this. Okay, now this one if you see. So what is happening whenever list contact is failed, this will execute. Okay. But if you see here, whenever you're creating like this, what is happening? The next send email should be parallelly, right? Whenever list contact is succeeded, it should run. Otherwise, it will fail, right? But if you see, when you create a event like this, what is happening? List contacts, after list contacts, you're having a send email. This is not expected, right? So what you have to create to handle in such scenarios, we will have a parallel branches. Okay. So I'm just keeping as it is there. So what you can do, you have to create a parallel branch instead of normal one. I'm just deleting this. So instead of adding add action directly, add a parallel branch. Again, send an email. And now if you see what is happening, both actions will be executed after list contacts only. So, but what is my main intention for a send email? I want to execute on the failure, right? Now I will do the configure and after. So how it behaves, whenever it is succeeded, it will execute this one. Whenever it fails, it will execute this one. So it will have a both, we are handling both scenarios. So after this execution of send email also, you want to test, right, whenever it is failed. So for that purpose, you can have one more send email for this scope. Getting what I'm saying? So like this, we can have a multiple scope within the single flow where you will break the entire. So you may suspecting here I may get error. So I have to handle that scenario because suppose the scope is handled by different team. The scope is handled by different team. In that scenarios, you will be handling. So expression failed at send email scope. So like that you will do it. Here you will be like expression flow failed, list contacts failed. So you are giving some additional info instead of having a single. So whenever you have a flow with has too many steps, too many actions to identify easily where it is exactly failed. So like this, we will be creating the different scopes. We can create different scope and we will create however we want. Okay. Any questions? So if you see the flow, how it is simple, right? Managed, it is triggering on succeed. The straight line means straight arrow line means this is positive scenario. Now if you see under list contacts, we have two parallel branches. One is for executing send email. The next one is for failure. So you don't have a continued dotted lines with red color. So it means whenever it is failed. In the underscope again, we have the similar thing. So like this, you can identify the failure of scopes. Okay. So now, just now I tell the scenario, right? So now we are in the demo environment. You have the production test. So let's assume demo is the dev environment, test environment, production. So I don't want any mail alerts for production test or test and demo environment. I am worried about only production. So how do you identify whether environment is a production or not? Right? So basically for each environment, we will have the different URLs. But you should know, right, how it what is the URL or I assume for the security this email also for dev environment we have a different security alias, email alias, security group alias. For the production we have a different security group alias. So we shouldn't give this hard coded alias, email alias, right? So for each environment you want to have a separate alias. So for that purpose, what we will have environment variables in the Power Automate flow. Okay. So environment variables are like a similar to these flow variables. Flow variables work whenever flow starts. Right. So you can use as a variable some placeholder. You can use that in the next places. So similarly, when we talk about environment variables appear in throughout the flows across all flows. Okay. So let me go to solution. Now, if you see in the components, you will have a environment variables. Hmm. So if you click on this more, you have environment variable. You can add existing environment variable as well. So whatever the environment variables these are, right? These are the MS10 prefix means product to Microsoft Dynamics. These are the first party out of the box environment variables. So I don't want to use them. I want to get a new one. More environment variable like security email address for failures. Let's assume we have a different email address for different environments. So if you see, you are defining environment variable. This is the schema name it is creating. Description. I'm giving the same. And it is asking type. whenever we talk variable in any language, we should mention what is the type, right? Whether it is a string or it is a number, whether it is a yes, no, boolean or like that. So if it is a secret, you will have a connection to the Azure keyword. Okay, we will learn about Azure after. Okay, but now we are going to use the text format. So what is the default value? What is the current value? So you have to set it. So default value means by default, if you don't have the current value, it will be used like this. And current value means the environment specific. So I am giving the some of my email here. For the production, let's assume I want to use so this default value will be for if you whenever you do export import, this will come by default. If you don't have this current value, it will use this. Okay, now we have given default value and current value. Now we will try to use this environment variable in the flow. So what we have done like we are using that alias is hard-coded alias, right? So far. Now what we will use, we will change that hard-coded alias into environment variable. So instead of this hard-coded alias, what I will do, same like another previous step from the if you look for dynamic content. Now if you see, you are getting environment variables also. This variable mail send count, list rows, everything are from the previous step values, right? Apart from that, you will get this environment variable also. If you click on see more, you will get the all out of the box as well. So you can find your own email address for the 4 layers. Here also you will print the email address for the 4 flow failures. You will just save it. So if you see, this is the at the rate, like in the square bracket, this is a symbol for parameter variable. It's executed. So it will execute even though it is a wrong alias, it won't identify it, as we have seen, right? So it will try to send an email, so there is no failure. Okay, but I want to test the failure scenario later because I am using failures in the environment variables. So how to break this flow? I will just edit the schema name in the list context. So it will fail, right? So it is failed. It went to here. So it is directly came the current value. Suppose if you don't keep current value, you have only default value. That time automatically it will pick the default value. That's how it behaves. Okay. So current value means environment specific value we will be maintaining. Default value whenever it's absence, that will it will take that default value. Okay. I will run it again. It's executing. Executed. Eluted. So now if you see earlier it was taking, we are using the same environment variable, but it is considering based upon the available values. If its current value is there, it will take the top priority, it will take it. If you don't have it, it will take. So when do you use the current value? When do you use default value? Because based upon the environment. So if you have, so for this environment, you want to use it. So so far we have seen how to execute the flows, right? So obviously these flows will be developed in the development environment. You want to move it to production. So how do you move to production? Same like another components, we will do the export import. Let's do that because I want to see that I want to show that how this behaves when you are deploying to another environment. I'm using unmanaged solution. Let me open the different environment. Let's open our production. So here is my flow. I made the development. I want to import to production. I want to move the changes to production. So I'm using the manual deployment. The simulation has exported full environment which has gone to the production. Okay. Okay. So two connections because this connection is to be created for each environment. So I need to sign in again. Okay. Next. Now if we see, this is the default value it is showing. So it is asking, it is expecting to update. Do you want to go with the same value or do you want to update? So like this, whenever you are working for environment variables, while moving this environment variable across the environment, it will ask what should be the value for this environment. So what you want to keep. So in that scenario, as we are into the production, right, we will be keep the production. For the dev environment, we will keep the dev. For production, we have to keep the production, right? So like that, we will set the respective value needed and we will import. Now, if you after importing, what will happen if you go to the same environment variable in this environment, the value will be deferred because you have given a different value. So it will use a different value in this environment while executing. Getting what do you mean by environment variable? How it will be used? This is some important thing. Interview also they may ask. Okay. So let it import. Once it import, I will open the environment variable and show you. So this is how we will use environment variables. The next thing what we're going to learn here is like parent flows, child flows. Okay. So I'm just opening my environment variable. So this is a solution important, right? So this is my environment variable. This is current value updated, right? Earlier it was we don't have any current value for this environment actually. If you see this one, do you have any current value here? When you are exporting, you have given what should be the override the default value by setting the current value for your environment. So I have given the current value for environment as LED flow. So it is so as you have this value present, obviously this will use current value only. It won't execute the default value. If you don't have default value, if you miss to skip it, then only it will leverage its default value. Default means for us last scenarios, right? By default, it will execute. Like that we will see now. So if you don't have the current value, it will go default. Okay. Now let's go back to our parent solution here in the demo environment. So far what I did, I am doing same send email action. I'm using send email multiple times. Here I'm using, here I'm also. So I don't want to use, and this is kind of a repeated step, right? Send an email, same step. This is also for a notification in engineering team. This is also notification. So to avoid this duplicate, we can create some child flows and we can leverage it. In our scenario for single step, we are going to use, but in the real time, in the child flow, we'll have a set of actions instead of sending an email. Okay. So let's see how we will create. So let me create a new flow. Instant, select the, for the child, create a child for, we have to select the instant, manual trigger, flow name like send email to engineering team. So here I want to give the, what is the engineering team DL. Let's assume engineering team alias and flow name. Flow name for which flow it is failed. Like that if I want to use. So I will just click on save. What will happen when I click on it? Should ask at least one condition should be there. So I will use send an email. So here I don't use hard coded. I will be using dynamic content. That what is my dynamic content? What is the, we have in the previous step, right? So what are the previous steps? We have manual engineering team alias and flow name we have defined. So I should able to use them only. Manual trigger flow, see more. So if you see the more, you will have see more engineering team alias. So I will keep from the top. Next subject. What I want to keep the flow name and environment variable. Okay, flow name failed environment. So where is my environment? I have environment variable, right? Email address. Okay. So we will create one more variable for the Power Automate. Let's create it to identify the environment. Body is required. So again in the body you want to use, you can use the same. And just did copy paste. So I will, what I will do, I will create one more environment variable to identify the environment. Okay. Creating new variable, environment type. This is also string only. Text. Default value dev. Current value also dev. We are in the dev environment. So what I will do here now, I will just do a refresh. Question practice. So we have to get another flow. Send email to engineering team. Edit. Flow name. Environment. Here I want to keep environment, right? So look for all parameters. Here you will have environment type. I want to keep the same here. So click on the same. See more. Environment type. Save. So subject, body, you have both. You have set the respective. Now I want to use this. I want to call this flow from the parent. So what is my parent flow? Let's assume this expression practice for a parent flow. So instead of having the same action repeatedly, I just created in a child flow and I want to use it. So the first basic criteria for the creating parent child flows, both should be in the same solution. Then only it will work. Okay. Otherwise it won't work. Now instead of this step, what I want to use, I want to create a child. I want to call, right? So if you see here, when you look for search for child flow, run a flow, run a child flow, you have it, right? So if you look for it, you will get the expression practice instant send email to engineering team. It will list down all flows actually. So you have to choose whatever the child flow you want to use. So for this child flow, it is expecting we have given the parameters, right? What should be the engineering team alias, what should be the pay flow name. So this is my flow name I'm giving. And next engineering team alias. So for the engineering team alias, we have a variable, environment variable. Sorry. Email address for flow like this. So what will happen? Update self action and with the response action. Not to use run only. Update the child flow act for action. Run a child flow, not to use run only user connections. So it is expecting some change here. Not expecting. Not to use user only connection. Again, let me see. Is it able to saving first of all? Update the child flow for a and do with the response action. Okay, right. So first thing, update the child flow with the response action. So we are calling this as a function, right? So we have to create the response as well. So we'll have this response method. Respond for out status of child flow. Status of child flow succeeded. So like that, I'm just sending. We are calling this as a function, right? So we are calling this as a child flow. So we have to send the status what has happened at the end. Is it failed or succeeded? Now I will try to save it again. Earlier we were getting two errors. Now it is reduced to one. And update the child flow for action. Run a child flow. Not to use run only user connection. How to configure this? How to change? I don't know the user. I will let me switch to a new one. Switch without saving. Save and switch. It's unable to save, so let me lose it. So I used to have this one. I'm creating a how to call child flow. We have to look for child flow. Engineering values, I have to choose it from dynamic value. Flow name, I can give hard coded. Save. Where can we run? Select run only. Action run a child flow has defined a child flow that contains define a child flow that contains unknown user connection. Update the child flow for action on a child. Do not use user connection. Assist me. Auto fix. Go to the open the child for being called. Open the connections. Change the connection that areas it is a run only user. There it is. Open connections. Open the child flow that is being called. Go to connections. Go to connections. Where do you have connections? Connections use. Go to the connections section, the child flow. Change the any connection that are set to the run only user to a shared service connection. Run only user. Edit. Go to connections. This is plan. This is connection response to individual. Go to the connection. Open the child flow that is being called. Go to the connections section in the child flow. Change my. So I will ask this only. I'm able to follow the steps. My flows. Go to my flow solutions equation. Open child flow. Check connection reference. The flow inside a solution. Open solution. Little stop menu. Look for connection reference. Verify. Click share run only users. Click share. Where do you have share? Check whether connections for run by run only user. Where we have this step actually. Do you have run only users? It's streaming. Let's see what will happen. You share. Let me save. Still getting the same error. Edit. For manually triggered. This is manual. Share. Click share or unknown users. Unable to find. Unable to find or unknown users. So like this, we have to do troubleshooting for the whenever you have an issue. Open the solution or automate your solution. Open the site flow. Click more beside the flow name. Edit details, connection reference. So we have this connection reference. We have programs. Problem with this AI tools, it will give the solution even it's not a proper. Check the connection reference more visual phone. Click on edit. Select edit details. Go back to the solution. Programmed by only user. The user who runs the flow. Stand, 1 second. Why? I'm not able to edit this one. Connection reference. If you click on edit, this 360 notebook shared. Connection type shared only. Where we have run only user. So where we have this is the file flow. This is child flow. So in general, if you have a proper valid Copilot license, you can use this for automate license as we're into trial, right? Thanks for sharing the link. If you need to call this run the check action, which is already present in your program. This is fix this error. Fix this error. So like that, we are able to use in real time. So the active license is working within Copilot. Open shadow under run only. Go to the flow settings where we have settings. Is changing to the user running, changing the plan to user running flow to the Copilot Studio. Let's take this how it works. I think they should fix it. Now saving. Not working. But this is different. Flow checker, warnings, no warnings. Plan answer changed. Reload. I will do a just refresh. I will try one more time. Otherwise, we will see. Yes. Flow name. This is my flow name. Still same. Update the child flow for action. Run a child flow 2. Not to use run only user connection. Where to change run only user connection. Just where to change run only user connection for automate instant flow. You need to update the child not available. Open the child flow. Locate run only users in the right side. Click edit. Where we have right side, this side. This is sharing. For each connector, change from provider by unknown user. Connector, okay. Here we have connection reference only. Permissions, reusable profile. Here we have something. So how to, that's fine. We find connections from here, left hand side. Only use edit the switch account. Here also we don't have it. Modern designer details. Look for if you can't run a laser, the flow is not an instant flow. It's an instant flow only. No? Okay, that's fine. We will continue with this error tomorrow. And we will tomorrow also will continue with the power automate only. So
Okay,
Thursday will start with JavaScript. Okay.
okay, Rishi, thank you.
Today I will be sharing this assignment. Please do practice. We will give it. Okay, you also try to search in Copilot, and if you get a chance, fix it. Okay.
Okay,
You
thank
have
you.
this environment, right? So check this flow, send email to the independent expression. So if you are able to fix, that is well and good. Let's see. I need some troubleshooting analysis from your side. You are not the flow, not the. Okay.